How are you, lads? What's the crack? I haven't got loads prepared now, so this will be as broad and awkward as a 40-year-old man at a Debs. I want to talk a little bit about emotional intelligence, right, and how emotional intelligence relates to the mental health discussion. It's clear from listening to the other speakers and what they've been saying is that, the mental health situation in Ireland is it's shit. The country's in a very bad state. There's a lot of people who need serious help. So what that means is that we've been forced into a position where the mental health solution is a reactive solution. The solution needs to react to people who are in crisis, a lot of people. What I want to talk about tonight is a proactive solution, which is one that doesn't necessarily address people who are in the throes of crisis, but the general member of the population who's kind of doing all right, but, could do with a bit of help. So, everyone who gets anxiety or gets depression, it starts off with one day you feel a little bit sad, or it starts off with one day you feel a little bit frightened. And emotional intelligence is a good kind of tool that you can use to proactively get at that shit when it happens. And it's a free tool that anyone can just do a bit of Google and do a bit of reading, buy a few books and learn about it. What is emotional intelligence? It's the ability to understand your own emotions, to be able to name your own emotions, and from that then the ability to understand someone else's emotion, to have the ability for empathy. Empathy is a huge thing because it allows you to put yourself in somebody else's shoes. But if you can't identify your own feelings, you haven't a hope of understanding what someone else's feelings are. Imagine if, in this country, right, we had no idea whatsoever, we had no scientific information to suggest that eating fatty food and not exercising is going to result in bad health. Imagine we didn't know that at all. What would the country be like? It'd be terrible. You'd have every single person would be overweight, they'd be struggling with their health. Then you'd have people getting chronically ill. You'd have people dying. It would affect the economy. It would affect the culture. That's how we are with our emotional world because we haven't been educated in it. I mean, our parents grew up with the church, so they haven't a fucking clue about it. You know what I mean? So this is kind of where we're at. So to put into perspective, an example of poor emotional intelligence in action. Everybody in this room, right, there's 180. So anyone who doesn't suffer from procrastination, right, does not suffer from procrastination, put up your hand. Not one person in this room put their hand up. Now I'll explain to you why procrastination is an example of not having good emotional intelligence. Procrastination is this thing we do. We don't particularly know what it is. Everyone fucking suffers from it. Now, procrastination isn't like not doing your tax forms, because when it's your tax forms, you're like, I don't want to do it anyway. That's understandable. But procrastination is when it's something you actually love and you don't do it. You understand that, yeah? And when it's something that you know is good for you, where it's a goal and you don't do it, or you put it off until the very last minute. Well, the psychology behind what procrastination is that we think of it as, oh, I want to do the dishes instead. Oh, I've got this to do. Oh, I've got that to do. What it is the fear of failure. It's the fear of failing at something. And the reason why that's kind of intertwined with emotional intelligence is that, we'd say, we put it myself, right? I suffer from procrastination. Not too badly because I have tools where I can catch it in the bud, but every so often it'll get the best of me. So if I have to write a comedy sketch, we'll say, and deliver, I'm told on a Monday, Republic of Telly, you have to have a comedy sketch done by Sunday morning. I will go the entire week doing absolutely fucking nothing. And then on Saturday night, I will start doing this comedy sketch, right? Now, this is my dream job. I love making comedy sketches. I'm getting paid for it. It's what I'm really good at. And yet, for some reason, I will put it off the entire week until Saturday night and put myself into an awful situation. Here is why. Because a part of my identity and my self-esteem is dependent upon being good at comedy. So my self-worth, I'm valuing my self-worth in how good I am at something outside of myself. So that means that if I fail at that thing, it's not just simply failing at one task, it's failing as a human being. You understand? So as a result of that, what I'll do is, shit, it's Saturday night. I do it, I get it completed, I stay up all night and I submit it on Sunday morning. If I submit it and it turns out to be brilliant, I get to say to myself, fucking hell, that was excellent and I didn't even put in any effort. If I submit it and it's a piece of shit, I get to say to myself, well, you know, I didn't even try anyway. Imagine how good it would have been if I tried. But what that is I am protecting myself from failing. If I do that, I can never fail because I've never really tried. And the problem there is that I'm not being emotionally intelligent around my personal identity and self-esteem and an aspect of my behavior. You should never evaluate yourself as a person by an aspect of your behavior. Human beings were incredibly complex. You can't evaluate a human by them being good at one thing or another. We're complex with many different things. So that there is a classic example of poor emotional intelligence. Now, however, if your identity and self-esteem is reliant upon everybody you know liking you, that's when that's when that poor emotional intelligence can leap into actual mental health issues. Because then you start living your life wanting to please everybody around you. And sure, that's never going to work because you can't please everyone. So when you start to peel away the kind of the layers of something as small as procrastination, you can see how your attitude towards some aspect of yourself can actually turn into serious mental health issues down the line. So that's why it's important to start with something small like procrastination and take a look at yourself and go, what parts of me, what your ideal self, how would I like others to see me? Chances are the bit of yourself how you want others to see you is probably not very realistic with who you actually are. And when those two things are very far apart, mental health issues they come into the middle. Now, the other thing as well is that I don't want to be flippant and facetious. I'm here talking about fucking procrastination as if it's going to solve all mental health problems. It's not. This is something, like I said, for average people to just look at and focus as a proactive way to stop something larger happening. The other thing as well is that, like, okay, everyone in this room, how many people in this room, most of the stuff that causes them distress is thinking about bad shit that's already happened or bad shit that might happen? Yeah, that's about 92% of the audience. That's another thing, all right? So, suffering is guaranteed in human existence. Suffering is a necessary part of the tapestry of being alive. However, about 80% of the suffering that we actually go through in our daily lives, that shit's completely avoidable. We don't have to have that at all. And that suffering comes from not necessarily what's happening to you in your life. If you look at your day on a daily basis, you know, if you're living a normal life and you're not subjected to abuse or addiction and stuff like that, most of the stuff that actually happens in your day isn't that painful. The pain is your thoughts about what might happen or what has happened. So what we can see there is that it's not an activating event that creates human distress. Our thoughts and our beliefs about that event are what create the emotional response. And if you can learn through emotional intelligence to adjust your attitude towards whatever the fuck happens to you in your life, then you can then control the emotional response and your behaviors that happen as a result. Now, that's not some mad theory that arrived to me from fucking aliens or something. That's called cognitive behavioral therapy. It's one of the foremost psychotherapeutic fucking theories in the world. And it's one of the most empirically proven psychological theories too. It's been proven to be more effective than drugs in treating depression. That's a study that they did. I didn't do a finishing part to this, did I? Hold on. Oh yeah, another piece of evidence as to why our culture and our society is not using emotional intelligence properly is somebody who is emotionally intelligent and who has high self-esteem. The word self-esteem as well as self-esteem. If someone with high self-esteem, it doesn't mean that they think they're brilliant. To achieve high self-esteem, it means that you don't think anybody else is better than you, and you don't think you are better than anybody else, because your valuing comes internally, an internal locus of evaluation. And a good way to develop high self-esteem is don't compare yourself to other people, and don't ever put anyone down in your head. Do you know what I mean? Don't be going, oh, look at the state of them with their shoes. Look at him with his red shorts. Don't bother doing that. That actually lowers your self-esteem. Do you know? And if you go, oh man, look at his red shorts. I wish I could wear those. That also lowers your self-esteem. Just worry about your own shorts. Do you know what I mean? But serious, that's how it fucking starts. Right. Just a final little thing. If we were an emotionally intelligent society, advertising wouldn't work. All right, and it's as simple as that. Okay, I'll tell you why. Now, first of all, if you want to know who invented what we call modern advertising, and you can Google this, his name was Edward Bernays, and he was an American man, and his uncle was called Sigmund Freud. He read his uncle's book on how to control the human mind and invented what we now call modern advertising. Advertising, as you may know, we haven't been sold a product based on the merits of that product since the Industrial Revolution. If you want to buy soap nowadays, like all I give a fuck about with soap is how clean it's going to get me, right? When was the last time a soap advert was telling you about how clean it's going to get you? It doesn't do that. Soap or soft drinks or pants, what they're selling you is a better version of yourself. So when you buy the pants or buy the soap, you're not buying the soap. You're going, oh yeah, maybe I can be like this person if I buy it. If we were all emotionally intelligent and aware of our feelings in the here and now all the time, you'd go, no, fuck that, man. I just want something to wash myself. I'd use the washing up liquid instead. Do you know what I mean? But I'll wrap it up anyway. Thanks very much, lads. Have a good one.